Hi everyone, my name is Jacek Szymański and I am Director of Food and Tabletop Commercials. In my Foodless podcast, I meet people who have a clear impact of the food film industry. They are masters at what they do. In our profession, there are not many studios in the world for tabletop directors that provide services at the highest level. I had the pleasure of working in most of them. A great experience where I can compare the work of teams in different parts of the world. After 4 years, I had the pleasure of talking to Jakub Laskus again, founder, boss and supervisor in Byte Studio in Poland. Does Jakub have time for Ikigai? Why SFX high-speed robots are not most important? Why small productions will be eaten by AI? If you are not filled with fresh ideas, you are standing still. Why Jakub wakes up happy every day? And how to win a project? Enjoy! 1, 2, 3. Can we check the microphone?
Hello.
Me. Can you stay a little bit closer? Just a bit closer. Okay. Just a bit.
All right.
It's fine. Okay. Cool. Okay. What do you have? What is this? I have a water. What do you have?
I have a beer. It's a very hot day today, and my beer is super cold, super nice, beautiful. And
we are in Warsaw. We are not in Croatia. Yeah.
Yeah, we are not in Croatia. By the way, it's amazing how cold beer in Croatia is. They serve beer in the best temperature ever.
Wow.
It's super cold. But by the way, recently I went to a restaurant and the lady, instead of showing me a picture of desert, she showed me, she told me, she described me what she, offers, and that was the most delicious description ever. And I thought that we should start doing podcasts about food, but how to
describe the dishes.
Yeah,
correct?
Instead of creating pictures, we should
cool.
start marketing channel. I think important part is who speaks. Probably this is to some extent this idea is related to ASMR things because it's it makes you really know.
It depends the woman and man, so it's so many things which give this attractiveness of the speech.
Yeah. But
can you tell me a little bit more what was happening about this description? What it was?
No, she started describing chocolate cake or cheesecake. I don't really remember, but when she started describing texture, layers and how beautiful and tasty it is according to her.
Where it was in Croatia?
No, Warsaw, here in
okay.
Warsaw. Yeah. It was really something really extraordinary. I thought, wow, you can really sell something just by describing it in a very sensory way. That was, if you describing certain offer or product, that's obvious that focus on features and stuff like that. But selling, offering, or describing food in a way that you really want to taste it, it works.
Yeah, I don't remember that you fill up your glass with the beer. And
okay, you want
so yeah, because we are the pictures guy.
Yeah. Okay.
We are imagining how it works in the TV screen, but let's hear it.
Let's try. Okay, it sounds like that.
Wow, this is the beer.
But this is just it.
Yeah, but the Czech one.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Big pleasure that I having on my podcast Jakub Laskus, and this is the guy who is very sensitive about all of that product. He hears so many things more than others. So with you, Jakub.
Thank you for having me here.
Absolutely, it's always a pleasure. So we talked many times on so many various topics. So and your way of seeing the world is very close to mine, to be honest. So I know
it is a bit odd when two guys from Poland talking English now. but I want to explain a little bit about what's going on. So many of my foreigner friends, when we had a chance to meet each other, and they ask when you would talk with Jakub Laskus. Please, we're waiting for this kind of. Really, this is the reason, because we had
I'm honored.
And so this is the thing.
Thank you.
So we are here now, guys. So when it comes to different countries, many people have different habits. For example, the Japanese have an amazing approach to life. They call these activities they approach to life ikigai. Do you know it?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
cool. So I'm just explain to our listeners what is this.
That's really beautiful idea.
Yeah. When you focus on the little things, this is the main part of the day, I can say.
Mm-hmm.
My question is, have you had the pleasure your coffee today, but without a phone in your hand?
You know that for some time now, I'm trying to be much more aware than I used to be years ago, and part of this story is of course related to mindfulness, to develop certain ability to live every, or maybe not every, but more moments in the most conscious way. And part of this is of course those little things that you do on a daily basis. Coffee is one of them, and yes, yes, I had it today without phone. I do my best to get rid of phone. It's not easy still, unfortunately. I'm not trying to tell you that I'm totally free, not at all. I'm doing my best, to really enjoy those little things, mindful way possible. Yeah.
Did you change something in your life about this kind of small, little things like an ikigai?
Yes, I've started, a certain journey. Let me put it this way, to find out, kind of instruction of my life, to find out what should I do to take more from this beautiful life than I used to do. I used to take before. Last 12 years, to be very honest, was when Vice has been established, was very busy for me, for us. For me personally, I probably spent at least, out of these 12 years, I spent probably 8-9 years just working. It was beautiful, by the way. I was focused on developing, our skills and techniques, and I was. Long story short, I was focused on the images, commercial images, and this is really beautiful and great privilege to be able to shoot and to work with the so visually advanced things, because this is, kind of art. In most of the cases, maybe not always, but there are other, dimensions.
But we are waiting for this kind of opportunities, in our work. When this kind of project, which will coming to us, it's like an art. Maybe this one. Maybe the next one. That's the most. Yeah. So but right now I can see that there are much more dimensions, interesting, areas and ways of, experiencing your life, not resigning, fortunately, from, what we are doing on a daily basis, but, creating that this very world looks much more rich and beautiful. So, to make it happen, that's of course the simple, the most, maybe not simple, but the most obvious tool or approach to be more conscious and aware of small things, because what we all
facing is our beautiful but very crowded mind that that makes a lot of noise and troubles every day
And information.
So
true.
that's so tasting coffee and eating consciously whatever it means. Probably you have to feel texture of thing you have in your mouth and enjoy it, not just putting stuff into your stomach, and that's all. That's but of course eating and drinking coffee is not the only way of experiencing awareness. That's super obvious.
Nice. Personally, I'm a short distance runner. When I run, I love 5-7 kilometer section, but I run them efficiently and quickly. 15 kilometers or more bores me, and I don't have to prove to myself that I will run 24 kilometers. I'm more here and now. Also in these matters, Jakub, from our first coffee together 10 years ago at Cafe Nero, I have the impression that you are a person who is consistently moving forward. So, do you adapt to the reality here and now, or do you try to predict steps forward and protect yourself? In other hands, do you plan your goals for long distance or short ones?
Yes, I think that was the most always the most important feature of me. Let me say that I was always trying to predict future scenarios of everything, and that was very demanding. It's still a little bit demanding, not that much as used to be, but before, years ago, I didn't have good toolkit. Let me say, ways of creating those scenarios and evaluating them. So lots of energy. It took a lot energy. Right now, I'm much more capable to write more clear scenarios and more probable scenarios. Only talking about business issues, of course. I believe this is the question.
Yes, true.
So, but I cannot imagine in business to be just to adopt to what is what situation, actual situation brings you. It is too late. That's the problem. This is part of the probably every business, and yes, we were incorporating it into our strategic process. Let me call it this way. But today, as I said, it's much more easy. Nevertheless, it's much more easy in terms of tools, conceptual tools. I'm not talking about any software and stuff like that, but things that are using pipelines, ways of creating those scenarios and predicting future. This future is much more difficult to predict nowadays.
I don't know, 10 years ago is much difficult for you right now.
10 years ago was much easier to predict what will happen in 2 or 3 years. That was very easy, actually. I mean, because there is a certain structure of each market, and when things are growing or not growing, I mean, it's not a big deal, to be honest. But now, when everything is changing in a totally unpredictable way. I mean, there are some, patterns, rules, of course. But there's so many different factors that are super new, and
they are changing faster, 10 years ago.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that you're just sitting and waiting what the future will bring you. On an operational level, you need to be always, one step ahead. But how this business will look like in 2-3 years, I really don't know. And in 5 years, wow, that's...
You've stolen my next question. No, never mind. We'll jump a little bit later about this one. We'll jump a little bit later about this one. No, yeah. So I got your point now. It makes sense. It's much difficult right now.
And on the other hand, just to bring this, this mindfulness ideas and this, this way of thinking.
What do you think, Jakub? Mindfulness ideas?
I mean, in a certain moment you start realizing that that you are very limited in terms of affecting your future. I'm not trying to say, as some people claim, that nothing can be that you should just sit and wait what universe will bring you. That's of course not true at all, especially in business. But on the other hand, I think that you need to realize that there are so many factors, not only business factors, energy of people involved in the process, a willingness of their how much energy they want to put into the certain processes and jobs, and as long as you're not running a small individual business, you realize that this landscape is so complex, and again, the scope of prediction is very limited. So I think I'm missing correct word here, but
anyway, we can skip it. No worries.
Yeah. So
So maybe in other hand, so can I ask you something general? Maybe we can finish this kind of topic. Where are you now with Bytes? In your opinion, where are you now? So where is what is the situation? I know this is the general question.
Yeah, that's very bad. It's general, but very, very good question, to be honest. Thank you, because I'm asking this question, posing this question quite often these days, trying to understand what are our key competences. Let me put it this way. Robots, high-speed filming? No, I don't think. I don't think that it is technique. SFX, not at all. I mean, it used to be a super important part of this business and this whole brand puzzle, let's say. And then, well, today I think the most important thing is understanding of tabletop visual language and business itself, the rules behind this business, and certain, what also matters is certain capability of doing creative projects. Those capabilities are not always in use, to be very honest. I mean, we're shooting sometimes very standard projects, like as we always do, things that are not super creative, but we are in this kind of business where creativity needs to be sometimes
On the second shelf.
on the second shelf, because we showing products in the most beautiful way. So this is very very practical part of marketing, I would say. Those guys who creating and shooting amazing narrative commercials were super important aspects of human life is somehow communicated or shown. I mean, they can, this is a little bit different story. We are, guys who are shooting and creating sometimes tactical content. But sometimes we creating something. I mean, we try to do something which is unusual, visually unusual, and to be capable to do that, you really need to have much more than just toys in your garage. And I'm really privileged to have amazing, beautiful team of super professional and talented people. I know that it sounds cliche. I know, sorry, but this is true.
Yeah.
This is really true. Around 40 people right now in a team makes difference. So I think we are capable to move further. Maybe
with this kind of approach, are you talking about creativity?
Creativity, and in general with creating, not even shooting, but creating food and beauty content. This is our domain. It will not change. I don't think that there is a way or need to redefine ourselves to approach other creative territories. Used to be in other creative businesses, but I mean, food and beauty is something that really defines Bites. They will be the case in future. But
it sounds like it sounds like Bites. They have their own agency inside.
No. I mean,
like a creative agency. Sounds like this.
Yeah. No.
Okay.
This is another important decision we made years ago. Apart from the decision that we do not represent directors, creating our roosters and our rooster in the old school meaning, that we have couple of names that we provide and have them exclusive on the market and provide them with certain.
You say old school way. Yeah. So many production houses they can be right now angry for you because they are practicing this kind of thing.
Yeah, I know, but that's very conscious decision, and I'm happy to share my thoughts with everybody. But by the way, I think that this kind of approach is starting to be dominant in a live action or market as well. So as far as I heard, production houses or directors do not feel like being represented by one studio. I mean, again, we are facing huge paradigm shifts. let me call it this way, a whole market. So we'll be witnessing different, situation in the future for sure. So coming back to directors, we said to ourselves years ago that we do not represent directors. We created directories there, of course, but this is a separate story. It has nothing to do with representation of directors. And second thing we said to ourselves years ago is that we won't be creating agency competences. It doesn't mean that we don't want to support agencies and directors with certain creative, things we want and we do. And this is really amazing. We were a little bit afraid of, telling agencies that we want to, if they like, to support them in the, demo creation process or developing certain creative idea to make it become more, unique or whatever. But as we figured out, most of the agencies are super happy, to get such offering and support, and that's really amazing. And on the other hand, directors also are happy to, to be supported with certain creative ideas coming from our side. This is not always happening, of course, due to many reasons, but it happens sometimes.
Jakub, what kind of support we as directors can? What kind of support you can give us as directors?
No, we as I mentioned, in Bali there's a couple of people who are very experienced in terms of different visual media and we all are aware of tabletop stuff because we shooting, we talking to the directors from different fields, not only tabletop. And what we do is creating so-called studio treatments of certain storyboards or sometimes director's treatment. Of course, there are directors who are super precise and super aware of what they want to do and how they want to execute it, but this is not always the case. I would say that majority, maybe not majority, let's say half of, in half of cases, directors and agencies have no clue how to make it happen. Not even in terms of technical approach. That's obvious that we are here to support, but in terms of visual support, and really important part of treatment, especially coming from directors who are not very experienced in tabletop. There is usually one slide in the treatment telling, and here we'll have beautiful demo sequence or part, and that's all. Of course, this is this is
true.
this is true, but there are also more advanced version where there are just a few sentences describing the sequence, but to make something really unique, you need to go into details. You need to at least try to find something. To really spend time and employ different creative endeavors. Let's say it's not easy. Otherwise, you stay with conventional and traditional thing, which is, again, in many cases, absolutely enough. Because again, I want to underline it, we are, doing, sometimes tactical content, which means that, it should show certain features of the product, and conventional thinking is not bad in this case. But sometimes you want to create something extraordinary, something absolutely unique, fresh, appealing, not just mouth-watering. That's almost always the case, but something that is really, never seen before,
Yeah.
truly never seen before. And it, especially when, you know, almost everything has been done according to some directors. This is not true. I don't believe that this is true. And in this respect, I'm super excited about AI, because AI is bringing us, showing us, or, you know, supporting us in finding things that have never been done before in a very, you know, direct way. That's really amazing. Of course, there is a separate, you know, topic how to make it happen. If it is generated in AI, and if you want to make it in camera with the practical effects and, you know, Newton's physics, then, you know, problem starts. But, you know, at least it's challenging, and sometimes is giving really very fresh, you know, references for us.
Sure. But I remember my last conversation with Roland, and we had the same kind of, you know, feeling about the AI. So in the end of the day, we have, for example, like an owner of the factory for the olives, and for sure he wants to see the, you know, the real stuff, his real stuff on the set, not AI to create the olives, you know, from artificial intelligence, because he has a lot of trees, he has a field, he feel like maybe like a, you know, more nature. And in the end of the day, I have a feeling that he wants to see what is the real on the table, how the olives looks real, not. Anyway, this is the, long story short.
That's
as you say.
You're right. I mean, this is one of the most important arguments. But you know, I think we should remember that food category is very, you know, complex. There's chocolate, there is, you know,
yes, of course,
fresh things, and many other subcategories. And in certain categories, like in chocolate, for example, this, you know, natural, you know, issue do not apply, because there is no. I mean, if chocolate could be done in a efficient, beautiful way in CG, I'm pretty sure that nobody would be, you know, shooting it, because clients want to have it under control. But in, you know, other categories, like probably, you know, vegetables or whatever, or probably burgers, I cannot imagine right now that within, let's say, 3-4 years, big, you know, restaurants will decide to generate it because of many reasons. Well, first of all, yes, they would like to show real product, even if it is, you know, tuned and, you know, fine-tuned and ameliorated somehow. Yeah, that's super interesting, you know, thing is, you know, when AI could potentially be, you know, employed, and how consumers at the end of the day will, you know, react on certain artificial things. And I believe that this is the most important argument for us who shoot in camera, that, you know, this industry will still have, you know, a certain amount of job, because, you know, in the coming era of beautiful artificial content, consumers, clients will probably, no, I'm not sure, probably they will have growing need to see not perfect but real things. That's exactly the same argument is in art business. I believe that art, human art, let's say, there are different sort of other kind of arts, but and craftsmanship will be somehow important, because people would love to, experience outcomes of other human beings, work.
True.
To some extent, but I'm not sure, to be very honest.
No, but this is very interesting. I'm just thinking right now, can we spread our imagination now? And what will the ad look like for you in the future? Let's make some fantasy
advertisement, you mean?
Yes, ads, like a commercials. Because sometimes I have this kind of feeling that maybe everything we can do in the AI, in the computer, everything. So I'm just thinking about the movement. Of course, I'm not talking about right now quality. Every part of your imagination you will create in AI.
Yeah, but this is not only an issue of what is possible technically, because look how content we're shooting has changed for last 5-8 years. Visual narrative has changed dramatically because of media and channels and
True.
Instagram, things like that. So right now you have to have something which is very fast, created in a very agile, or very active way. Showing many different images. Otherwise, it will not get attention of
pay attention,
clients and then those who scroll TikTok or Instagram, whatever. And this affects visual language and the way we create those little product stories. And so trying to predict or foresee how content will look like in 5 years, let's say, because in 10 years maybe there will not be visual content at all, or there will be most probably other ways of getting into human mind. Not joking. I really believe that it will happen.
True.
Don't judging. I'm not judging it. I don't have anything to say about it because but I presume that it might be the case in future. But in 5 years' time, 3, 4, 5 years' time, again, certain needs coming from client side, younger generations that are really tired with certain visual values will affect the way we'll be creating content. And to be very honest, I haven't the faintest idea how this shit look like. I don't know. That's the problem, actually. It's not just technical issue, but again, channels, clients, needs, and and maybe there's a scenario quite probable, in my opinion, then within 3-4 years, there will be majority of clients that will not accept AI at all, because they will understand in 2 years' time that this thing is changing their lives so profoundly that they will be reacting in a very allergic way on everything that is AI generated. On the other hand, I'm pretty sure that third-tier content, this very simple, fast content, very easy, will be eaten by AI in 1 or 2 years, for sure. So, when I said that I'm unable to predict this is exactly what I wanted to say, that this is very hard. This is very hard due to many factors that at the end of the day.
Okay, let's see on this kind of issue in different way. You say very important thing, and right now a very important term during our conversation, generation. In my opinion, this is the case. Right now, those of these kids, they have like a 20 years old. They getting bill, agency workers. They are scrolling right now. They are bombing themselves for this kind of information, not the natural information like we can present like a tabletop directors. You know what I mean? So, and after 3-4 years, as you say, they will be decide what is the best for the company. But in the end of the day, right now, their behaviors like to scrolling the screens. I'm thinking about the generation. This is a new chapter, I can say, in our life to find a way for the conversation with them, with the new generation.
Yeah, absolutely.
And give them this kind of feeling that, hey guys, I know that your behaviors is scrolling the screen, but we have to propose something different and better.
Yes, but I'm not sure if we can, propose them anything.
Yeah, maybe. So I don't know too.
The problem is that it will happen kind of, in an organic way. Meaning that this is, all strategies, branding strategies, and business strategies are in a way very iterative process, and there is many factors affecting this process nowadays, and it's really very interesting how younger generation and new clients, new customers will react on content. My son, who is 12, anytime I'm trying to talk about AI, he's very allergic on this topic. For example, I told him, listen, they say that in future programming will not be done manually, no code issue. So why you spend your time learning JavaScript and he's in JavaScript now and Python? And he said, because I want to make it my own. I want to have control. I want to do it just for myself. And maybe it's unique, I don't know, but maybe this will, this sort of thinking will be represented by majority of younger, people who, we need to be aware, are in a very difficult phase of, world development, polycrisis, different problems, less, work, less number of jobs in future due to AI for sure. Many things that are, affecting the psychological and, psychological well-being and, kind of, security. So, of course, we always, this is generalization. World is super huge. There are there's many different, markets, groups of people, segments. There is a place for luxury products, and this is growing. On the other hand, there's a lot of poverty. So, I think, and this is kind of conclusion, that this complexity is also supported, let's say, by by scale of worlds and the number of different markets, clients, groups, needs. Even though we world in a global world, they say yes, this is true. But there is hundreds of shades of it, and we. That's understandable. We want to generalize and create one beautiful theory of everything, which is probably not possible today. That's the point.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I like your son's, approach for the Java. And he said loudly that, Dad, I want to do it. So, because this is, I can jump smoothly to my next question, because I always try to tell to my daughters, guys, we have to talk about our needs loudly. Let's talk about our needs loudly. Why not? I think people don't say what they want, to the others. They keep it inside and wasting the time. And I believe that these needs need to be expressed loudly. So, because if you say loudly, then you can accumulate the energy, and you can materialize this kind of ideas. But this is, my point of view, my kind of philosophy of my life. So, but the question is, do you express your needs loudly?
My personal needs, you mean?
Personal needs, business, when you have even meetings, relationship, do you express your needs loudly to the others? I want this because of what, because of something.
Yeah. I mean, I used to express it very loudly by saying exactly as you said, I want this, and I don't care. I mean, I'm exaggerating a little bit, of course, but I don't care how we will achieve this, but I want this because I believe this is important. And
for who?
For business. I mean,
Okay.
for my team, for my colleagues. Doesn't mean that I was not listening, but I was super sure what I think is right. And of course, I made lots of mistakes, and it was very tough, very difficult. Probably it made this business and Bytes quite nice company. but probably there is also another roads and path to achieve goals. But today I'm expressing my expectations and feelings rather than needs in terms of business. In terms of private life, I will jump in a second if you like. But in a business, it's absolutely collective work. And today, I'm again, as I said, I'm privileged to work with very experienced people who know their jobs very well. And today, I'm just expressing my intuitions, which are sometimes good. And I'm simply asking what they think. In a private life, I think it's good to express what your feelings are. That's obvious. But generally speaking, I think I'm closer today, to the place where I'll try not to express too much.
Okay.
Not because I don't have anything to express, but rather focus on listening and, you know, observing rather than, you know, shouting. Let my you know, my mind shout or, you know, express. You know what I mean? This
Yes.
monkey mind, as
Yeah.
they call.
But you know, Jakub, I know what you mean, but I'm thinking about something a little bit different. So if you have, for example, your goal, you have a goal in your mind, you need to achieve something, and in the end of the day, maybe you don't know, but maybe this idea is too far away from me. Maybe it's never achievable. So I would never reach this kind of idea. So it's like you know, above the clouds. So I have some kind of kind of goals. I have a feeling that this kind of goals, when I set up in my mind, is a little bit above the clouds, but it's still achievable. I think so. So the question is, in your opinion, sometimes when we express this kind of idea to the others, maybe it will happen faster.
But
Even if we're talking about the business, I don't know. I don't know what's your goal right now. But if you say loudly, "I want this, guys. Hey, chief, but this is above the clouds." No, I don't worry. I want to say to you, I want this one.
That okay. I got your point. I think what you're saying, I think, is it's all about, you know, inspiration and it has something to do, maybe it's not all about, but it has something to do, inspiration and, you know, inspiring people and, you know, showing something which is interesting, which is not boring, which is not tactical, because people, especially creative minds, and I think, you know, most of them with whom we work are creative. They really enjoy and appreciate being given certain, you know, not obvious, you know, targets and objects, or not even targets, but, you know, ways of thinking about certain issues and, you know, goals or perspectives. And yes, this is important, and it fueled me and Bites during all these years.
You know, because sometimes people want thinking differently. I don't want to say loudly because it's better to don't say loudly because it will never happen. It's never happen.
You know, to some extent, the director rooster was the case. A few years ago, when it started, we said, okay, what if? This is what if? And the what if thinking is super beautiful and important in business, and, you know, again, for us creative minds, it is something that fuel us and makes us wake up and get up. Otherwise, we will die.
So I just want to explain, and we will jump one more time to this kind of conversation. Agnieszka Celej writes a lot about this visual aspect of our work on the Directory Hub website. But apart from the information, it's also a database of tabletop directors, correct? So you can find so many good names on the website. Best names. Most tabletop directors are there. But what is the point of all this? What impact does this have on the industry?
Directories.
Directories. What's going on now?
I think there is multiple, you know, layers and ways of affecting industry. Of course, I don't have any numbers. This is
Okay.
we never did any research, but based on hundreds of conversations, we know that it's very nice way of bringing directors to each other to some extent, which is quite important for them. Of course, there are more important things that talking to each other, those who are fighting for project with each other, but there is certain value of community, and this very thing that the director research created. On the other hand, I think we managed to achieve the goal of showing advertising agencies and some clients that this is quite well organized and interesting industry with numerous of great names and people and directors who do different beautiful things. Before, I think a tabletop was treated as very technical, very boring, not very fancy thing, which was part of the those spectacular live action things. Okay, so I'm simplifying because we all know that years ago there were beautiful only food, only tabletop commercials, but and we believe that to some extent we pushing things further in terms of creativity as well, even by bringing different perspectives of different directors and creators, and giving voice to non-directors to express certain visual ideas. Because I think that tabletop industry stuck in a very craft way of doing things. This still is probably, but we believe that we can somehow influence directors and agencies. Probably this is even more important, with different sort of visual thinking, which is difficult because it needs to. In practice, it means that during the commercial projects, they would have to experiment more, which is, as we know, very difficult, especially these days where there is shorter terms, preparation time and lower budget. So there's less space, let's say, to experiment. But nevertheless, I believe that even just by showing certain visual values taken from different areas, complementary to food and beauty, but it is always value. So, but the most important is community, and we believe, and this is something that is in front of us still, is kind of support to the society, directors' society to, to organize themselves in a way that production houses are organizing themselves all over the world. Directors and food stylists are separate islands, and if they are separate, their voices are less, important. As simple as that.
But did you have any feedback from the agency? Because you say that this tool is dedicated more for the agencies, maybe.
Yeah.
So did you have any feedback from the agency?
Yes, absolutely.
Hey, Jakub, it works. We found a great guy for him.
Cool. We have this, that sort of, messages. Maybe not every day, of course, but quite often, and this is really cool. Even myself, when I get information that there is a new article on the directory, I'm thinking, oh wow, that's interesting. I didn't know that we are there's going to be article about this and that, and they are super happy. We see it in numbers of people visiting. It's growing, although again, we must remember that this is a very niche market, and if we have 150 names right now, directors, food directors, and this is probably majority of top-notch directors, tabletop directors. It means that it is very niche thing. Tabletop studios all over the world. There's, kind of first league, whatever it means. Sorry, I won't be explaining because I don't know. This is by intuition. There's probably around 10 or something. Of course, there are hundreds of great studios, smaller, beautiful, with amazing people. But this top-notch group of studios is capable to provide certain professional services. This is my definition of the most professional studios. Not that you can shoot beautiful stuff within your 3-people team. That's separate story, separate approach. But you are capable to proceed to go with the professional project pipeline. You know what I mean. So we are super proud of it. We were very lucky that we decided to do it in a most difficult moment in nowadays history, let's say.
Because you started during the COVID.
When COVID started, we had everything ready for. We've been working for half a year or even more. Everything was ready, and then COVID came, and we said, "Whoa, gee, what now?" And we said, remember. "Okay, let's." And it happened. We managed to do that probably because, to some extent, that by COVID, directors had more time to chat with us and to think about other things than writing another 10 treatments for something.
It was very interesting because I remember this time when COVID hit. So you said to me, and at the same time, so many studios and was shut down because there was not so many production for the. But we were lucky because of the tabletop was on a good position. But at the same time, I thought, my gosh, this is not a good moment to open something like this because COVID hit and we don't know what will be in the next month. And Jakub, you started something new? This is crazy.
There is always space and need to do something new. I'm pretty sure this is the most important truth at least in business, because we all human beings we really need fresh things, fresh ideas to some extent. Some of us are
just for us even improve ourselves.
This is constant move towards somewhere. I don't know where, but
absolutely.
We need to be as I mentioned, fueled by fresh ideas, to push things further, not even to earn more, to be more famous. Of course, this is a separate thing, for some very important, but you know, the part of our, you know, life is you know, is energy that is really important to be utilized in the most productive way, more productive, more creative, maybe not only productive but creative way. This is part of our, you know, human configuration somehow.
Yeah.
And I cannot imagine myself doing nothing apart from, you know, resting and maybe meditating from time to time. That's also super important part of life. But you know, this flow effect, flow thing, where you know, small ideas meet in one place and you have this aha moment, and it's a very pleasant experience.
Yeah.
It's a very nice experience that, you know, that makes life rich and beautiful, and again makes you you know, happy to wake up and get up and do something.
I listen to you right now. I have a nice tip for the listeners, because as we mentioned before, it's always good to have a goal in your mind. Always good to, you know, have something. So, but if you don't have anything on your path like a goal, so let's improve yourself. This is the goal. Let's find a goal to be better and better. So I'm just thinking globally.
You're right. I mean, I would say that that's a very interesting aspect, how organizations function, generally speaking. You know, they need to have goals, and I still believe that organizations, because this is a, you know, social structure, need to have goals, or some, you know, some,
true.
Otherwise, this group of people that
you're
is supposed
out of the game then.
But of course, but on the other hand, and maybe it's more important for organization to last, to stay, to and grow, is to have goal. Otherwise, because people are organized around goals.
Yeah,
in a way.
True.
But, you know, for us in our private lives, of course, goals are important, but I think they should be less important, a little bit less important, meaning that I mean, the longer I live, the less I appreciate this, you know, this sort of thinking where, you know, you need to reach certain goals, and, you know, the more important, as you mentioned, is probably grow in a human way, in a most human way, grow, become more aware. I'm not even thinking about those, you know, transcendental issues. Absolutely not. This is a separate thing. For some, it's super important, but, you know, to get, you know, meaning of this whole thing, to make life nicer and more interesting, as simple as that. Goals, like, you know, get better or be richer, I think they are not supporting this, you know. That this sort of thinking is different paradigm, which is, in my opinion, less attractive and more complicated, and probably leading you towards greater anxiety and more problems rather than, happiness.
Nice.
I know that I sounds
Nice,
like,
nice. No.
but yeah.
I like your approach. So this is the good moment. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, just last word. I think
Tell me.
putting things together, I really believe there is a way to mix all those, things I wanted to express today. So, on one hand, being very effective in business, having goals, organizing, as I mentioned, around some, ideas, motivating, people, giving, beautiful ideas. On the other hand, to make it in a very gentle way, in a way that is full of respect and trust. Of course, you need to be, as a manager, aware that there are individuals that need to be, put out or, exterminated, let's say, from your organization, because they are
To survive.
they are not, at that moment of their life that, is supportive for your organization. Let me put it this way. But this is all managers' toolkit. So it's possible, but and I think in a very, and this is the most recent, let's say, consideration about AI. I believe that in the era of AI, there will be space for organizations that will be created and led around values in a creative sectors. On contrary, probably there will be, majority of companies and, businesses will be automated, or almost fully automated, and very, technical, let me say, where values will not be important at all. Just, clear mechanisms of any sort. But in other, I believe, I'm not sure, of course. I wish to see a world where there will be, companies that will appreciate creative, interesting people. And we managers will have to give them certain, offer certain values that will, make them interested in, being part of this. But we'll see. I mean, I don't know.
Sure, of course.
I don't know.
Let's see. This is the last question. Currently, many production houses compete with each other.
Mm-hmm.
So, is there a lot of competition in the tabletop market, as you see? And do you have any secret you could share, of course, about how to win the project? Competitors and how to win the project.
There is a lot of great studios, of course, around the world.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling, not sure, but I have a feeling that your competences, your brand equity, is less and less important, because the truth is that majority of good or very good studios can offer very nice quality of projects. What matters is, of course, cost estimation. But what matters even more, I think, is trust of clients, and both on a side of agency and production house and studio, so to win the project, I think, apart from creative work, assuming that there is a great director with great treatment, that's always important, fortunately. Maybe I would say even more important, good treatments. But apart from this, what matters is trust, clients and agencies and production houses do not want to experiment that much. Of course, there is a part of agencies and the production houses that they fight for price only, and they will risk a lot. Sometimes it's they are successful, but there's still group of clients and agencies that really want to have predictable outcome, very predictable outcome, and great outcome, of course. And to win the project, I think you need to be flexible as studio, to give very good values, production values, especially in tabletop. We can should make same 10 shots in a couple of different ways, engaging sometimes 30 or 40 people, or sometimes 20 or 15. It's also possible. Everything depends on the process expected from the agency and client side. So managing this is giving you a studio opportunity to be flexible, but you need to be aware and ready to adjust yourself. And it affects, of course, price, cost of the project at the end of the day. So this is something that is important, and again, creative deck and treatment is important. Apart from another argument or factor, how comfortable place where they shoot is. I'm not talking
for
only
who?
For clients and studio. This is still the case for some productions, that they do not want to travel far, for example. And it's of course related to ESG issues and carbon footprint issues. Our clients, in most of the cases, are big brands and huge organizations that are obliged to, fulfill certain, KPIs and requirements of SGI. So, I think they will be, clients will fly less in future. They will push things local.
Sounds not good for you, because you have so many, foreigner production here.
Local, fortunately for us, means at least in Europe.
Okay.
But we'll see.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. It's been a long conversation. Sorry, but lots of interesting issues. So I think there's a lot of uncertainty, but I'm pretty sure that we all find a way, and all this industry will find a way to, to create beautiful things, and even though we'll be reorganized somehow, that's also will happen. Thank you.
I wish you the best project. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a good one.
Bye bye.
Thank you for another episode. It is not easy to make them. I admit I don't have a journalist soul. I do this because I have a great desire to share with you something that seems super interesting to me. Thank you and enjoy your meal.